A very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for joining us on Nationwide. I am Tessie Justin Bisong. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, says there is no sufficient evidence at the moment against his predecessor, Mohammed Adoke, former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Desiani Alison Madueke, and former Finance Minister, Olusegun Aganga, over the $1.092 billion Malibu oil deal. He stated this at a public hearing of the House of Representatives Ad hoc Committee on alleged corruption in the award of Oil Processing License OPL 245. Ignatius Nkwo reports.
The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice condemned the payment of $1.092 billion into an account other than the Federation account or the Consolidated Revenue Fund. He informed the committee that any person found guilty of any wrongdoing in the transaction must be made to face the law.
As I stated earlier, the investigation was multidimensional. It was international and not necessarily, it was local and international.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, explained that it was not involved in the deal and suggested that the Department of Petroleum Resources should be the agency to answer questions concerning the Malabo oil deal. Chief Whip of the House, Representative Ado Dogwa, who represented the Speaker, urged the committee and all the parties involved to ensure that this matter is brought to an end.
Estimated to hold about 9.2 billion barrels of crude oil, which award is shrouded in controversy, scandals, corruption and breach of due process that resulted to monumental revenue loss to the country.
Chairman of the Ad hoc Committee, Representative Razak Atunwa, explained that the Malabo oil deal has generated great concern from within and outside the country. Hence the resolution to investigate the issue.
A global reading of the mandate, therefore, indicates that rather than a rehash of previous investigations, the House intends this committee to be a compendious one and draw together all the various facets.
Atunwa observed that it appears like other countries are more interested in the matter than Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTN News.
The House of Representatives have passed for second reading a bill for an act to repeal the National Commission for Refugee Act of 2004. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that this was one of the bills considered this week.
Sponsor of the bill, Representative Sani Zoro from Jigawa State, argued that the replacement of the act with the National Commission for Internally Displaced Persons, Refugees and Migrants will provide a framework for efficient management and rehabilitation of victims of displacement.
It must also be stated that IDPs from the northeast and north central zones have extended to other parts of the country, including Ogun, Osun and Lagos states in the southwest, Edo and Cross River in the south-south, the Federal Capital Territory, Nasarawa, Niger states, as well as many others in the north central.
By law, if you look at the definition of a refugee, IDPs are not covered.
The House also adopted a motion to investigate the recurring electrical accident in the power sector as moved by Representative Joseph Edionwole from Edo State. Representative Henry Nwamuba's motion on the need to investigate the policy of payment to local vendors in the oil and gas industry to save local contractors was also considered and adopted.
That the DISCO and GENCO should, as a part of their social responsibility, deliberately invest in protective equipment, safety gadgets, and working tools for our own workers.
60% payment in dollars and 40% in naira. Concerned by the new policy that requires 100% payment in naira to local contractors, even when the government and foreign contractors still maintain the practice of 60-40 payment in dollars in their transactions.
The motion by Representative Emma Ogene to rename the National Stadium Abuja after late MKO Abiola and the Eagle Square after late Shehu Musa Yar Adua was rejected. From the National Assembly.
Acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onagan, says both the judiciary and executive arm of government must come to the fight against corruption with integrity. He was speaking at the annual conference of justices of the Court of Appeal, which opened in Abuja. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okoewo completes the report.
The Court of Appeal, being the nation's second highest court, controls the judicial destiny of the economic, electoral, and social lives of Nigerians. With such a domineering posture, Nigerians know that the infiltration of corrupt tendencies can destroy the system. This is why the Chief Justice of Nigeria is calling for integrity within the system, such as to fight corruption. But he also adds that any external body seeking to rid the judiciary of corruption should also not be short of integrity itself.
The battle for the soul of the judiciary can only be fought and won from a position of integrity, judicial independence, and fairness in the dispensation of justice to all who come before you.
The Acting Chief Justice of Nigeria called for a better working environment for justices of the Court of Appeal, such as the reduction of their workload.
I quite understand the enormous caseloads you have to contend with. The pressure can be overwhelming, and with that, the natural tendency to rush through the cases before you.
President of the court spoke about the need for the annual conference.
Ballot papers, result sheets, and smart card readers were presently snatched at gunpoint. The Commission has documented all these instances of violence and wishes to assure Nigerians that we shall carefully scrutinize them and take appropriate action under the law, as well as our guidelines and regulations. Because the key to successful elections lies in finding solutions to mitigate violence in our elections.
This workshop for journalists and experts from various professions was not only to review the recent conduct of elections, but seeks to strengthen collaboration between key players and the Commission. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
House Committee on Police Affairs has held a public hearing on the need for vigilante groups of Nigeria to have a legislative backing in their duty of complementing efforts of government security agencies. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
A closed-door meeting was held at the hearing, which the chairman House Committee on Police Affairs, Halluru Dauda Jika, said tends to provide community security service for Nigerians, among other responsibilities.
This will come in a great way in augmenting the effort of the Nigerian police and other military and paramilitary agencies in combating the insecurity issue that we are currently facing in the country.
After the law, I think the sky will be our limit, and Nigerians will go and sleep with their two eyes.
Nigerians have been agitating for state police, and we are dealing with a lot of insecurity.
Their role is complementary. They are not coming up to take anybody's job.
The functions of the vigilante group as presented before the committee is presently uncoordinated. But stakeholders say if taken over by the federal government, there shall be a well-organized structure that will make the group more effective. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, has felicitated with President Muhammadu Buhari on his 74th birthday, describing him as a leader with a divine mission to rescue Nigeria from the brink of collapse and hopelessness. This is in a statement by the Speaker's Special Advisor on Media and Public Affairs, Turaki Adamu Hassan. Dogara says President Buhari came back to lead Nigeria at a time when the nation was in dire need of purposeful, credible and dynamic leadership. He maintains that although the road is rough and turbulent, the journey to greatness and affluence has commenced with the APC government led by President Buhari. He further assured the President of support from the House of Representatives to deliver dividends of democracy to Nigerians as the President works hard to bring the much-needed change to Nigerians. Dogara prayed God Almighty to grant the President abundant wisdom, strength, courage and sound health to continue to steer the affairs of the country aright and take Nigerians to the promised land. The Nasarawa Police Command has launched the rebranded Public Complaints Rapid Response Unit. Aliu Tijani Mohammed reports that the initiative was born out of the desire to reposition the police force for effective and efficient service delivery.
Over the years, the Nigerian police force was operating in an exclusion of effective communication tools that places the right of the public to explore advanced technological and community means like the SMS, BBN, WhatsApp, Facebook and Twitter in raising alarm on professional misconduct in line of duty. In achieving the essence of the initiative conceived by the Inspector General of Police, the State Command Commissioner of Police Abubakar Sadiq Bello, in company of eminent citizens of the state, held a sensitization campaign at the ultramodern market and major roads of the city center. The Commissioner of Police assured the members of the public of the force's determination for the protection of citizens' rights and strict compliance to its rules and responsibilities as stipulated in the country's constitution, while urging for the cooperation of all.
The Inspector General of Police reiterated the urgent need of the force to be more accountable and responsive to the people, in tune with international best practices.
This month by 1.404 billion naira, although crude oil export volume decreased further by 0.34 million barrels.
The gross revenue is 206.448 billion. There is also revenue coming from VAT for that month, which is 75.579 billion. And that gave a total of 282.027 billion naira. There is exchange gain of 38.852 billion. There is also additional revenue from PPT, which is 66 billion naira.
The Accountant General further disclosed that companies' income tax and value-added tax recorded marginal increase, while 6.33 billion naira was refunded by NNPC. Excess crude account now stands at $2.45 billion. Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
The 2017 budget presented to the National Assembly by President Muhammadu Buhari has been adjudged a right step in the right direction for a better economic recovery. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria, who unanimously agreed on this, said one key step of making the budget more effective is the quality of budget implementation. Oyeyemi Ajayi has the details.
Because of Nigeria's economic outlook, the guests gave analysis on the 2017 budget, which was termed as the recovery budget by the president. The guests were optimistic that the budget has a positive 2017 outlook, as it addresses some issues enough to take the country out of recession.
We now have a national economic recovery and growth plan. We advocated that at the summit and insisted that it had to be ready before December. President announced it's now there. The president also announced that in 2017 there will be a stronger effort to have a handshake between fiscal and monetary policy.
However, one point the guest emphasized is the quality of implementation of the budget, saying more attention must be paid to local content strategy and small-scale businesses.
Governor Akinwumi Ambody, who was speaking through the State Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations, Mr. Oluseyi Oladejo, assured core members deployed to Lagos that the state government will address their needs within the context of available resources in the state.
The AYC scheme has, over the years, impacted positively on the socio-economic development of this state, particularly rural communities, various community development initiatives executed by your predecessors. I therefore challenge you to think seriously of how you can make your impact felt in the communities where you are going to serve.
Earlier, the state coordinator of NYSC, Mr. Cyril Akaneme, explained that the training received by the corps members during orientation program will enable them discharge their duties at their place of primary assignment.
Sensitization and awareness lectures on sustainable development goals, voluntary service overseas, reproductive health, HIV and AIDS education, educating Nigerian girls on new enterprises, and Drink IQ were also organized.
The corps members were later redeployed to their various places of primary assignments. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
It was a showcase of excitement and talent for the students of the Partially School for the Blind at the school's Christmas party. The special guest, His Eminence Anthony Cardinal Okoje Emeritus, asked Nigerians to celebrate moderately and not to be carried away by materialism.
That was a presentation by students of Partially School for the Blind at the school Christmas Carol. It was an opportunity to showcase their talent. The students put up a variety of performances to the admiration of guests. These include cultural dance, carol songs, and drama. The Catholic Archbishop Emeritus of Lagos, His Eminence Anthony Cardinal Okoje, urged Nigerians to use the period of celebration to pray for the nation's economic revival, peace, and unity.
You know, they shouldn't forget their God. They should continue to thank God for all the gifts that they receive from Him. Say their prayers for themselves, their parents, for the nation.
Principal of the school, Jane Oyeneri, expressed gratitude to God and all those who have been contributing to the welfare of the school and students.
It's a day we invite all our friends, benefactors and collaborators to say thank you to them. And also it's a day we rejoice with the whole world about the nativity of Christ Jesus.
What I want to tell these children is that they keep on doing what they are doing. They cannot see, but yet they do wonderful things.
I wish them well. I pray that the Lord will continue to increase them more and more in wisdom and in knowledge.
For the students, it was fun and excitement all the way, as they often looked forward to the celebration of Christmas, which comes with carol performances.
And these are stories from the Lagos Network Center. It's back to you, Tessie, for more reports on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Vera. Moving ahead, President Muhammadu Buhari has welcomed the appointment of the Minister of Environment, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, as the Deputy Secretary to United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres. According to a statement by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, Mr. Guterres called to inform President Buhari of his decision to name Mrs. Mohammed for the position, adding that the President says Nigeria has been honored. President Buhari thanked Mrs. Mohammed for her untiring contribution to transform Nigeria and said he looks forward to sustained collaboration between the UN and Nigeria, as he has no doubt that she will continue to make Nigeria proud at the global level. The Minister of Environment, Amina Mohammed, has assured Nigerians that her stepping down as minister to assume as United Nations Deputy Secretary General will not bring any setback in the sector. This was during a presentation of her one-year success story in the ministry. Mia Ogidi has that report.
We pray sincerely that God in His infinite mercy will continue to guide and protect her so that she will continue to render her services to humanity.
It was indeed an emotion-laden gathering of heads of agencies and the management team of the Environment Ministry as the Minister of Environment, Amina Mohammed, officially briefed them on her new appointment.
My departure will not reduce any of the momentum or the commitment or the achievements that we intend for this ministry going forward. It's one of the perhaps the most difficult decisions one takes to step down at this point, to go to a global level, which the President has convinced me is better for this country, is a painful one given
Lunch in Abuja, Water Resources Minister Suleiman Adamu said it was a drive to complement federal government's effort in delivering services, encouraging and utilizing partnership in the management of water resources in the country. Musbao Dan Wahab reports.
Komadugu Yobe Basin, upstream of Lake Chad in northern Nigeria, has more than 15 million people who depend on it for their source of livelihood as they engage in farming and fishing. Challenges associated with the lake receding have, however, affected the people and continuously threatened their livelihood. To help better the lot of these people, the federal government is encouraging and supporting the inhabitants through a trust fund to seek for a grant from the African Water Facility under African Development Bank for implementation of a project. It is in this vein that Water Resources Minister Suleiman Adamu urges the riparian state of the basin and other agencies that are active in the basin to make judicious use of the grants and support the implementation of a project.
My ministry sees the trust fund as a veritable tool and wishes to continue using the trust fund as a platform to complement our efforts in delivering our services.
Representative of the African Development Bank says the development of water resources of the basin is linked to effort towards achieving the key targets of the SDGs.
The environmental goals of combating climate change are addressed through sustainable water security. It is therefore important to grasp the hydrological, geopolitical conditions of water resources of the basin.
African Development Bank says it has committed about 1.9 million euros in preparing the project. In Abuja, Musbah and Wahab, NT News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device or at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. We'll take a quick break now. More reports when we return. Stay with us.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
Man of all men. Oh, let me wash your hand for you. Don't worry. Let me take toothpick and... Hey. According to Professor Tranquilizer,
I am disappointed, aghast, crestfallen, and vanquished at your shameful display.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Yomi Fash Lanso, Oguz Baba.
I'd like to see Mr. Udo Eto.
I hear you now, but find me something.
Are you mad?
Go.
Goodness, August, you show your shit.
Oh.
Very nice man, generous.
Okay, anything for the guests. Maybe feature or something.
Happy weekend, sir. Thank you.
Today is Wednesday.
Professor John Bull, this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Times.
I'm finished. Who finished you?
Find me something.
Over and out.
Welcome to the new speed of life.
Do you crave class? Do you have taste? And do you care about comfort? If you do, then for your next event, stay away from home, a business trip, or a holiday, visit Jade's Hotel at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Check out our world-class services, exquisite suites, restaurant and bar, gymnasium, spa and grills, and our outdoor catering services and cuisines. At Jade's, it can only be better. For bookings and reservations, visit us today at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, or visit www.jadeshotels.com. Our email address is info@jadeshotels.com. You can also call us on 09291-9321 or 0810-909-7956. Jade's Hotels. Welcome to life.
Nigeria joins the rest of the world in going digital. This means Nigeria is moving from analog terrestrial TV broadcasting to digital. Now, digital broadcasting gives you clearer pictures, crystal clear sound, and a chance for more channels and more shows to watch. Digital TV is a whole new experience for you and a rich harvest of digital events for the nation. Come aboard, Nigeria going digital. Coming to Abuja soon.
The essence of having a leader. When you promise, you make sure that you fulfill your promises. And that's what I'm after in particular, the success of my husband's administration. And I can't do it alone except with the help of the governor's wives, and all members of our progressive party.
It's that time of the year when we appreciate all those that meant so much to us. Our sponsors, our clients, government at all levels, corporate bodies, advertisers, religious bodies, civil society groups, political parties, business, and above all, you, our esteemed viewer. Together, we made 2016 great. Together, we shall make 2017 even greater. That's why we say thank you. Merry Christmas and prosperous New Year.
For over 25 years, I have been privileged to anchor various programs on television. But the news program that I find most exciting and challenging is The Weekend File. This is largely because of its philosophy of engaging all classes of people, the artisans, politicians, technocrats, captains of industry, and professional analysts on issues that touch all aspects of life and living. In the conversations that follow, you find complexities, different views, ideologies, thought patterns, and individual beliefs. It's quite engaging. We do this Saturdays on NTA Network Service at 9 p.m. It's Weekend File, but you call it Weekend Companion, and it's all about nation building. Join me, Kyrian Umayo, and production crew every Saturday for this weekend treat, and I can tell you that it is unmissable. Make it a day.
Welcome back. You're still on to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Nigeria and the World Bank are working on a new education financing arrangement towards addressing basic education challenges in the country. This was at a meeting of the Education Minister Malam Adamu and the management team led by the country director Rashid Ben Masood. The new arrangement, known as Results-Based Financing Principle, is a shift of payments for inputs to payment after assessment and verification by the World Bank team. Malam Adamu, while commending the proposal, promised to get State of the Federation key into the program.
I don't think there will be any problem. And I'm writing the governors. Here we are going to give you 100% cooperation because, as he said, it is our project, not yours. You are helping us. And the finances you are bringing are just going to be complementary to what we are already voted you bet and then to the budget of the ministry.
I think you have recognized the urgency of dealing with the out-of-school children. And this is an urgency. It's not about who we are, it's about the future of our children. They have to have the equal opportunities.
The World Bank country representative and other members of the team, while describing the program as the largest in the education sector, urged governments at various levels to key into it. Other benefits are overcoming inequitable enrollment rates, low and equitable quality of education, weak system management, and accountability. Universities of Abuja says it will continue to recognize exceptional brilliance as demonstrated by its former students who for 3 years consecutively placed the university in national and world stage through their outstanding performance. Samuel Obemudia at the presentation of plaques of honor to 3 law students who came out flying colors from the Nigerian Law School. Aisha Babangida urged the recipients, who were represented by Ms. Fatima Bomboy Sani, to keep up the excellent performance. Mrs. Fatima Sani, who emerged the overall best student, also won 9 prizes at the call to bar ceremony. The Vice Chancellor, University of Abuja, Professor Michael Adiku, announced an automatic employment of Ms. Fatima Bombom Sani as a graduate assistant in the university in recognition of her excellent performance. APC gave security operatives pat on the back for outstanding performance during Rivers State rerun election. Let's join Furo for these and other reports from our Port Harcourt network zone.
Thank you, Tessie. Welcome to Port Harcourt Network Center. Our consultant urology, Dr. Ovunda Jack of Braithwaite Memorial Hospital, BMH, says about 40% of men in Nigeria are living with prostate cancer. He disclosed this at the workshop organized by Nigerian Navy Pathfinder Rumolubeni Port Harcourt. Vivian Ezeadife completes the story.
The workshop is organized by NNS Pathfinder Rumolumini Port Harcourt to enlighten officers on the dangers, measures and steps to be taken to prevent prostate cancer. While delivering their lecture on the topic, prostate cancer and prostate-specific antigen, resource persons said prostate cancer is the development of cancer in the prostate in the male reproductive system. They noted that prostate cancer is uncommon in young men, but become more common in advancing age.
How do we do about healthy diet? We talk about fresh red tomato. Then the carotene, which is seen in carrots, also prevents prostate cancer. The green tea is a very good antioxidant and anti-free radicals to prevent prostate cancer.
Commander NNS Pathfinder Rumolumini Port Harcourt, Commodore Kennedy Ibuchilem urges officers and men to show interest in their health and take precaution to check prostate cancer, describing the workshop as timely.
It's a responsibility I owe myself and my men to see that they are enlightened as regards the prostate.
The workshop featured interactive sessions between the officers and the guest lecturers, as well as free prostate-specific antigen screening in Port Harcourt. Vivian Ezadefe, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps by Bayelsa State has flagged off its Ember Months mega rally campaign with the theme Crash the Crash. The Bayelsa State Governor Henry Serake Dixon commended the State Command for its continuous public enlightenment campaign aimed at ensuring a safer motoring public. Timmy Prayer or here was at the flag off and filed in this report.
Federal Safety Corps by Bayelsa State Command flagged off its Ember Months mega rally with the theme Crash the Crash in Yenogwa, the Bayelsa State capital. The Bayelsa State Governor Henry Serake Dixon, represented by the Special Advisor on Security, Dr. Boma Sparrow Jack, called for synergy among stakeholders, urging them to key into the federal safety programs to ensure safer road environments.
You want to be alive. They said, look, stay safe, drive safe, don't drink if you're going to drive.
The Zonal Commanding Officer, Jonah Agu, and the Bayelsa State Sector Commander, Wobin Gora, said with the command's readiness on zero tolerance for accidents, the command will deploy officers to critical accident-prone areas to ensure that this year's Ember Month will be free of crashes and fatalities.
If every road user would change their attitude, we as a country can have what we call zero tolerance for road traffic crashes.
We've done our monitoring to know when we have large number of people along one particular route, and of course during market days.
High point of the occasion was the flag off of the Ember Month mega rally. In Yenagua, Timnopre, or here, NTA News.
The NTA Port Harcourt Network Center Christmas Fun Fair Party rekindled the spirit of fun as the atmosphere was ignited to thrill the guests at the event. Kinsua Marjorie, who's at the show, reports.
The Mega Christmas Family Fun Fair Party, organized by NTA Port Harcourt Network Center, is part of NTA's corporate social responsibility. The party was not a dull moment for school children who thrilled the guests with fun. Zonal Director, NTA Port Harcourt Network Center, Niyi Oyeleye, represented by Assistant Director News, Cecilia Essien, emphasized the reason for the season. She urged the children to imbibe the spirit of Christ. For the children and parents, it was a joyous moment, describing NTA as the best television station.
Enjoying myself here, they are doing many things, it's fun. I'm enjoying myself very well.
Particularly, I'm so excited to have experienced things like this. It's a time to celebrate, but then don't miss the reason for the season.
The children are performing very well. The schools are really trying on their children.
Christmas is a season of love. It's a season to share with families. That's what is going on right now.
The 2016 Family Fun Fair was not just to have fun, but also to celebrate the reason for the season, which is Christ. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Government ministries, departments and agencies have been advised to champion innovative economic ideas at their disposal for sustainable economic growth in the country. Dr. Emmanuel Anoliefo, a development expert, stated this during 2016 National Economic Roundtable. Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji reports.
Giving a nod to President Muhammadu Buhari's presentation of the 2017 Budget of Economic Recovery and Growth, his associates under the aegis of the Muhammadu Buhari Legacy Foundation have reached out to economists and international development partners to explore potentials of rapid growth for the country and evolved strategies towards good governance.
I have seen instances where some ministers and departments say because the government removed them from Vision 2020, for instance, that they don't want to be part of what they are doing. And as because of that, they try to frustrate ideas that come to them. Everywhere in the world, policy process is built around institutions and systems, so you can't undermine it.
We are looking forward to make the budget passed by our president to be effective on the life of the people, because we are talking about the alternative approach in order to fix Nigeria economy.
Once we figure out what is needed, we will put a package together and bring in the right companies that they can do that development.
Increased investment in agriculture and more private sector involvement in manufacturing were listed as crucial to realization of development objectives. In Abuja, Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji, NTA News.
In spite of lean resources available in government coffers, Director General, Voice of Nigeria, says President Muhammadu Buhari has proven to be prudent in the management of the nation's resources. He made the statement while receiving the representative of the Young African Leaders Initiative, Mr. Malcolm Phillips, on a courtesy call. Murjana to Adam Sahid completes the report.
The Young African Leadership Initiative is an effort by outgoing President of the United States to invest in the next generation of African leaders. The coordinator of the Bureau of International Information Programs in the U.S. Department of State, Malcolm Phillips, stressed that they are in Nigeria to promote the Young Leadership Initiative efforts, as well as supporting young leaders not only in Nigeria, but around the African continent.
Areas. One is to look at the private sector, particularly entrepreneurship, to figure out how we can connect Nigerian entrepreneurs with American entrepreneurs, as well as the nonprofit sector, social entrepreneurship, to understand new models of mission-driven organizations that can help their communities.
Responding, the Director General, Voice of Nigeria, Osita Okechukwu, cleared the efforts of the present administration towards accountability and transparency in youth development.
Because President Muhammadu Buhari wants to diversify the economy.
wants us to move away from the mono economy of oil to a multi-economy where agriculture has a premium in the sense that most of the subsistence farmers, they want to mechanize agriculture, want to increase the input in agriculture so that they could also produce big.
He, however, appealed for exchange of programs, especially with the digitization deadline around the corner. In Abuja, Murijana to Adam Said, NTA News.
We'll now join Benin Network Center for more on Nationwide.
Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon. The Oba of Benin, Oba Iwaya II, has performed the Ekasa dance as part of the post-coronation events. It is one of the 4 major ceremonies expected to last till the 31st of this month before the lift of the ban on funeral rites. Dance that was first performed during the reign of Oba Isige. It was in memory of his mother, Queen Idia, in the 15th century. It is usually performed after the death of an Oba and when a new one is about to ascend the throne. The dance is meant to cleanse the land of evils, and only men and boys who have been purified spiritually are allowed to perform. Participants are from specific families in the Ogbelaka and Egwadese groups. They perform daily until after the coronation of an Oba, and it lasts 90 days. And then the high points. Celebrating the Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols has become a regular feature at Yuletide. Beyond the celebration is the significant lesson of Jesus coming to mankind with a message of salvation. Philomena Gbebo reports on the Christmas Carol organized by the Nigerian Television Authority Zonal Network Center in conjunction with the St. Paul's Catholic Church, Benin.
Egosa Osaga and the Zonal Director, NTA Benin Network Center, Mrs. Pauline Igbanu, were among those that read lessons for the day.
Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel.
To those who believe in his name, who were born not from human stock, or human desire, or human will, but from God himself.
The Archbishop advised Christians not to be carried away with the allure of the celebration. Rather, they should be guided by the word of God.
Let us ask the Prince of Peace to bring peace to Edo State, to bring peace to Nigeria, to bring peace to the entire world.
For us at NTA Benin, this has become a yearly ceremony, and we use it as a way of giving back to the society.
Every year we are being reminded for this Christmas lesson and carol that a Savior is born.
If anything man should celebrate, it should be the birth of Christ.
In Benin, Philomena Gbebo, NTA News.
And as our contribution from Benin, the news continues in Abuja.
Thank you, Obehi. Wife of Ebonyi State Governor Mrs. Rachel Umahi has promised to strengthen the existing relationship between NTA Abakaliki and the state government. She said this while declaring open the station's 2016 Christmas party for children in the state. Details of that report will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletins. Let's now join our Makadi Network Center for more reports. Charles is our guide. Hello, Charles. Over to you.
Chelsea, and welcome to Makudi. Strengthening health outcomes through private sector shops, a United States Agency for International Development USAID support program says family planning and maternal child health services in Benue State have received a boost through the private sector participation. The chief of party, Shops Nigeria, Ayodele Iroko, stated this at an event to wrap up the 5-year program in Makudi, the Benue State capital. Blessing Ameche Ebute has more.
Over time, the contraceptive prevalence rate in Nigeria, according to available statistics, has been relatively low and pegged at about 15%. This data has greatly affected the reproductive health, maternal and child health services in the country. Strengthening health outcomes through the private sector SHOPS, a 5-year project funded by the United States Agency for International Development, provides training and other interventions aimed at improving the quality and sustainability of family planning services in 8 states of coverage. Chief of Party, SHOPS Nigeria, Ayodele Iroko says over 12,000 women benefited from the project in 13 local government areas of implementation in Benue State.
We have come today together to look at lessons we learned in those years. We want to look at issues we can take forward. We are not only celebrating what we think we've achieved, but we're hoping for a better future.
Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Cecilia Ojabo, noted that the project has in no small measure improved access to life-saving family planning and maternal and child health services in the state.
From the report I got, they contributed immensely to the healthcare delivery in Benue State.
SHOPS project has been implemented in Lagos, Kaduna, Abia, Edo, Nasarawa, and Benue states. In Makudi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
40 persons selected from 4 local government areas of Benue State have graduated from the 4-month skills acquisition program organized by the Agency for Adult and Non-Formal Education. Elias ETF reports that the beneficiaries were also presented with startup materials to enable the takeoff of their small-scale businesses.
The skills acquisition and exhibition ceremony of the Agency for Adult and Non-Formal Education is under the sponsorship of the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, and the National Commission for Mass Education. The program, which had participants drawn from 4 local government areas of Ado, Apa, Guma, and Gwe East, had beneficiaries trained in production of soap and body creams, detergents, disinfectants, and similar products. Presenting the startup materials to beneficiaries, Executive Director, Benue State Agency for Adult and Non-Formal Education, Mrs. Himadon Oken, and other coordinating partners noted that the program has the capacity of transforming the lives of beneficiaries even as the economic situation continues to bite harder.
This empowerment program will help them to become self-reliant and reduce unemployment.
Representative of the Governor and Chairman, Benue State Assembly House Committee Chairman on Education, Gunan Adingi, as well as Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, represented by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Okeyi Megbileve, who commended the donor partners for the gesture, were also unanimous in their charge for graduates to make judicious use of the opportunity to change their fortunes. A beneficiary, Adudu Jacob, while speaking on behalf of the graduates, assured the gathering that they will not disappoint the efforts of the various agencies to better their lives and those of their families. In Makudi, Elias, ETF, NT News.
That report does it from Makudi. Tessie is back to you.
Thank you, Charles. And now to sports. Enugu State government wants to take over Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium as Crystal Palace hosts Chelsea in one of Saturday's EPL matches. From our sport desk, it's Amanzi Marcus.
The Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Solomon Dalung, said the ministry is considering a letter from the Enugu State government requesting a handover of the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium Enugu to the state government. Dalung expressed satisfaction with the renovation of the stadium by the Enugu State government after receiving the request letter from the Enugu State Sports Commissioner Charles Ndukwe. The national coach of rowing, canoeing and sailing is appealing to the government and water sports stakeholders to invest more in the game to ensure Nigeria wins its first medal in water sports at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Olagunju Adebola said Nigerian athletes did their best at the Rio 2016 Olympics but needs improvements in future international competitions.
To demonstrate our sport.
which all states embrace.
6 weeks, 17 matches of the English Premier League will be decided Saturday, with Chelsea hoping to extend their lead on the log with an away match to Crystal Palace, who are fighting to escape a drop to the relegation zone. 12th placed Stoke City hosts EPL defending champions Leicester City, now in 14th position. Manchester United will fancy a move to the top 5 from the 6th position as they play away to West Bromwich Albion. With sports update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
Thank you, Amaze. Before we go, a quick reminder that you can watch all our stories and much more when you log onto our website, www.nta.ng. And that's it on Nationwide. Thank you so much for watching. Do stay on, enjoying the rest of our programs. Good afternoon.